You're welcome. The Zenith Labour Party has secured a sweeping victory, winning 15 out of 17 local government areas in the local government elections held on November 2nd in Abia State, while the Young Progressive Party clinched the remaining 2 LGAs. The results were officially announced by the chairman of the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission, Professor George Chima, at the commission's headquarters in Umuahia on Saturday. Professor Chima highlighted the significance of the election, noting that it marked the first time in recent years that over 12 political parties participated in the local polls, describing this as a milestone achievement for the commission. He affirmed that the election was conducted across all 17 local government areas and described the process as free, fair, and credible. Professor Chima extended congratulations to both the victors and the opposition and called for peace and unity in Abia State. He also thanked security agencies for their support and commended the political parties for adhering to electoral rule.
Today, we have been able to conclude a task that ordinarily will take some 6 to 12 months. We have been able to complete it under 2 months. The results have been published. I congratulate the winners. I also congratulate the losers. In an election, there must be a winner and there must be a loser. Thank God that Abia has been peaceful, and I want them to maintain that peace and harmony that has been existing in Abia State.
The governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, has tasked the recently elected 23 local governments chairmen of the state to ensure the efficient and transparent use of public funds for the benefit of citizens in their areas of administration. This was during the swearing-in ceremony of the newly elected local government chairman of the state, which held at the council chambers of the Kaduna State Government House. Sani, along with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, emphasized the need for transparency and accountability in the management and use of public funds so as to get the trust of citizens of the state.
Ensure that the dividends of democracy are equitably distributed without prejudice to political affiliation, gender, religious belief, or ethnic background. Also, you are taking charge as captains of local governments when the third tier of government has been granted financial autonomy. Your allocation from the Federation account will be public knowledge, necessitating transparency and accountability.
The government will be putting eyes to ensure that every resource given to the local government is judicious.
Some voters in the Karu local government area of Nasarawa State have accused the state government of disenfranchising them from the local government polls, which has taken place on Saturday. However, speaking to other voters who took part in the exercise, saw them commend the Nasarawa State Electoral, or rather Independent Electoral Commission for the conduct of the poll. Some of them expressed worry over the absence of the opposition People's Democratic Party and boycotted the elections. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports from Karu local government area of Nasarawa State.
Karu, the most populated local government in Nasarawa State, borders the Federal Capital Territory. Today is local government election day, and while prospective voters expect a hitch-free exercise, there seems to be mixed reactions from voters, especially as the opposition PDP has refused to participate in the poll.
And since they started, they have not been correct. Everything was moving smoothly. Everyone was cooperating with the next person in his back, and everything went smoothly.
The APC contested, the SDP too has candidate, and the Labour Party. But it's quite unfortunate that the PDP did not participate in the election, but it's not encouraging.
While these voters are thankful for a hitch-free poll, News Central Television went round and discovered that voting did not take place in several voting units. This is Karo Central Primary School, the distribution center for all electoral materials, and this place also serves as polling unit 01. And unfortunately, this polling unit doesn't have electoral materials, and the voters are standing here beside me looking disappointed.
Here supposed to be the local government Karo Ward collection center. Unfortunately, we have to have moving from here to local government secretariat, or which is not supposed to be so. Here we supposed to declare the councillorship candidate to be declared from here before we move to secretariat.
Through since we didn't bomb me for this country or for this Karo local government, I'd never see this kind of type of election for my life. Election that no one can see that today his vote. Everything is just mess. Automatic mess. I'm totally disappointed with Nasarawa State government.
I am here to vote on Unit 001, and I am quite disappointed for not seeing the election materials. In fact, I don't know what to say. I don't know where we are heading to.
The members of this place, the voters here have been so disenfranchised, which is unfortunate. It is anticipated that authorities concerned will do something. Here in Karo local government, Nasarawa State, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Now we take a short break, and when we come back, we talk about SANU, NASU, and the vow to continue strike until full demands are met when we return. Welcome back. Now reactions continue to trail the appointment of the new Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Nentawe Yilwada, from Plateau State. That's in north-central Nigeria. This time, the Plateau State chapter of the Progressive Volunteers for Tinubu rejected his nomination. News Central's Chizabanyanwe tells us more.
Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction is a ministry created to cater for the needy, especially those affected by disasters or some sort of violent attacks in Nigeria. Nentawe Yilwada was the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in the 2023 general election, but lost it to Governor Caleb Mutfwang of the People's Democratic Party. At a press briefing in Jos, the Plateau State capital, the Progressive Volunteers for Tinubu called for the outright rejection of Mr. Yilwada as Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, saying he does not merit the office.
Appointing a qualified woman to these positions will not only inspire confidence among vulnerable populations, but will also ensure that programs implemented are reflective of their actual need. Unfortunately, Dr. Nentawe Goshen's qualifications do not demonstrate the requisite experience in humanitarian services or a background in non-governmental organizations that are essential for effectively managing this critical ministry.
Countering what they say was not done on merit, but for political considerations, others feel the group's claim is baseless and holds no water.
We acknowledge the appointment is as apt. We are optimistic that Professor Nentawe will assist the President in driving his renewed hope agenda by working assiduously to unite Nigerians, maintaining equity and fairness to all. Professor Nentawe Yilwada is a man of peace, unity and progress, and who believes in Nigerians' unity. His credentials make him suitable for the job, while his appointment reflects President Ahmed Bola Tinubu's commitment to merit-based selection.
He has over time strived to ensure that those who are without a voice are given a voice, that those who are without certain privileges that you and me probably would take for granted are granted those. Designing frameworks and policies that will ensure that everybody is captured, or if not everybody, most of us are captured, or most of those who are supposed to benefit are captured, is something that is there to his heart. He has done it over time, and the records are there to show for it, and also the evidences are abound. So his fitting or his suitability for that office is already being backed by evidence.
The appointment comes after about 11 months following the suspension of former Minister Betta Edu for alleged scandal. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyui.
Now, the Directorate of Road Traffic Service in Abuja has announced efforts to roll out an e-ticketing and central booking system for motorists in the Federal Capital Territory. Speaking to journalists on Sunday, DRTS Director Mr. Abdulateef Bello revealed that this new system aims to reduce and eventually eliminate physical interactions between traffic operators and motorists. To support this initiative, the service has engaged several service providers specializing in electronic traffic management and penalty systems. Bello highlighted that electronic enforcement would help curb vehicle offenses and improve road safety across the FCT. He emphasized that under the guidance of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, there will be no tolerance for lapses in vehicle administration enforcement. The director urged motorists to adhere to traffic regulations and ensure timely registration, renewal of vehicle papers and updates to driver's licenses to stay compliant with the law. And now the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi has initiated steps to drop charges against 32 minors who were recently arraigned before Justice Obiora Ugwatu at the Federal High Court. Shortly after their court appearance, the AGF announced on Friday night his intention to take over the case from the Inspector General of Police, citing the need for a review by his office. According to a source within the Federal Ministry of Justice who requested anonymity, the Inspector General has already handed over the case file and proceedings to dismiss the charges are underway. The source also mentioned that the court will reconvene earlier than expected, moving up the date from the original adjournment of January 24th, 2025 to early this week. An Operation Delta Hawk, a Delta State government-backed security unit, is accused of shooting a director of photography from Nollywood in Asaba. According to News Central correspondent Austin Azu, who is closely following the developments, the victim is reportedly receiving treatment and responding positively at the Asaba Specialist Hospital.
Disturbing incident has unfolded in Asaba, Delta State capital, where Don Juan Oputa, a highly regarded Nollywood director of photography, was allegedly shot by members of the Operation Delta Hawk security team, as revealed in a WhatsApp video circulating since 1st November 2024. Harry Umabelem, an eyewitness, described the incident, stating that at 1 a.m. on Friday along Asaba's Direct Labour Agency Way, suspected kidnappers injected him from a moving car. Subsequently, the joint security team discovered him on the roadside, and shortly thereafter, a similar vehicle refused to stop and was fired upon. According to an off-camera source, the victim misinterpreted the security personnel's flashlights as a potential threat from robbers and declined to stop, prompting the team to fire at the vehicle from behind. Others said Operation Delta Hawk claimed their intention was to disable the vehicle by firing at its tires, but the shots inevitably hit the Nollywood director of photography in the abdomen, resulting in severe injuries.
They rescued me and asked me to go and show them the scene, the last place that they dropped me. So when we get there, they came down and laid ambush and were inspecting the area. All of a sudden, we saw another red vehicle zoomed off. They were trying to stop the car to stop, but the driver did not stop. So that is where they now fired. But later when the car crashed, the guy said that he thought it was armed robbers. That was what happened there yesterday. So it was the same spot that those people dropped me. The same spot. They thought maybe it was those kidnappers. But they rescued those police people. They are the one that took us to FMC then before we come to the specialist.
Efforts to solicit response from the Director General of Operation Delta Hawk, the 63 Brigade spokesperson, including the spokesperson for the State Police Command concerning the issue, yielded no results. In the same vein, certain Nollywood members who visited the hospital to support their colleague refused to comment on the situation. In Asaba, for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Welcome back. And now we return to an earlier story from before regarding the Abia LG elections. And of course, noting that the Labour Party lost to the ZLP and the YPP. And now to discuss this further with us, we're joined by Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to Governor Alex Otti, Ferdinand Chima. You're welcome, Mr. Ferdinand. Good to have you here.
Good morning, my brother. Good afternoon, rather.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome. Now, how will you assess the just concluded local government elections in Abia State? Let's start with that.
The election, which took place yesterday, Saturday, 2nd day of November 2024, went on very smoothly and peacefully across the states. If you put your ear to the ground or make inquiries, from people who are on ground, they will tell you that we witnessed an atmosphere of calmness, an atmosphere of quiet, a very peaceful atmosphere. We didn't hear any news of any acts of brigandage in any parts of the state. Of course, it's natural to hear one or few reports of minor disagreement or skirmishes. But if you ask questions, if you ask anybody that is in Abia, they will tell you that everywhere is calm. And throughout that yesterday, there was a very peaceful atmosphere.
Now, Ferdinand, it would seem that there is a basis for comparison here with what happened in River State, where we saw a template where very popular parties really didn't make it. We also see that happening here in Abia State. What do you have to say regarding that similarity? Is it something that's going to pervade into other elections in other states? Is this just the start?
Okay, this is politics. This was an election, and at all times when we're engaging, we try to say the truth. We try to tell ourselves the truth. There were issues. There were issues and intra-party issues, and because of that, most of our strong candidates who felt that running that election on the platform of Labour Party would endanger the ambition or the interest, so to say, after the election must have been concluded. So for them to be on the safe side, most of them decided to run that election on the platform of other political parties like the Zenith Labour Party and the YPP mainly. So what happened? To an extent, a lot of people were disappointed. Some of our supporters were disappointed because we remain members of LP, even though we have our friends who, at a point, took the decision to move to the Zenith Labour Party. And of course, it would have been wrong for us to try to dissuade them when we knew what was at stake, or when we know what is at stake. So it doesn't surprise. The most important thing is that these people didn't say they are no longer loyal to Dr. Alex Otti, the leader of the party here. They didn't say they are no longer with him. They didn't say, but they said, let us first. We have an adage in, in Igbo land that says that you secure the land first before you begin to, drag the mats with which to lie on the land. So I think that was what happened yesterday.
With the Labour Party's loss to unpopular parties, one has to ask where the Governor Alex Otti stands currently.
Governor Alex Otti stands with the Labour Party. Governor Alex Otti remains the leader of Labour Party here. But like I told you, this is politics. The difference between mission and vision, we are told, is strategy. Some persons were overrating themselves. We wouldn't want to say anything that would look like we're trying to disparage our party because of the activities of some individuals. But those people know that Alex Otti is a household name. They know that Alex Otti is the major structure. They know that Alex Otti has the followership. They know the situation here before we came. They also know that it will be very difficult for them to make any inroad in Abia without the support of Alex Otti and his key men, his structure. So he is still standing with the Labour Party. He's still also enjoying the support and the love and followership of all those other people who may have contested the election on different platforms. So, but having seen this come and go, we now chart a new course. We now see what we can get out of make out of the issues bedeviling the party in Abia and at the national.
Mr. Ferdinand, can you point to one specific factor that actually caused or that might have contributed to the loss of the Labour Party in this election?
Okay, for example, you saw that a few days to the election, some persons came and announced that they have dissolved the state working committee of the party in Abia. That was provocative. That was uncalled for. That was unjust. That was simply disrespectful to the governor. And that's why I said that such people were overrating themselves. That's the truth. Because it wasn't only in Abia where Labour Party contested election in 2023. But I'm not aware of any other state where Labour Party did better than they did in Abia. So it says a lot. So that particular action, which was unprovoked, which was uncalled for, which was illegal, contributed a lot to the issues we have at hand. Because people didn't ask questions. It was avoidable, it was unnecessary, it was uncalled for, and it was provocative. So that alone was a clear act of disrespect. It shouldn't have happened because I wasn't aware that the leadership of the party in the state committed any offense to warrant that affront that was, carried out here.
Well, I want to say thank you very much, Mr. Prince Mwabweze. That's the chairman of Labour Party in Abia State. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, my apologies. Ferdinand Kelma, who is the media and publicity to Governor Alex Oti. Thank you very much, sir. My apologies. I was expecting another guest from later.
I don't know. I just heard you mention someone as the chairman of the party.
No, my apologies.
In the
sir,
state.
That was just
That's an act of impersonation. That's an act of impersonation. And if the man you just mentioned can show you any document, whether from court or anywhere, that recognized him as the chairman of the party, just take whatever I have told you here, dismiss whatever I may have told you here. Let him show you anything that any law, any constitution, any court order that recognizes him, that removed the chairman, Oti, as the Labour Party chairman in Abia State and recognized him. Let him show you. So if he's saying, the man you mentioned, if he's saying that he's the chairman of a Labour Party in Abia, that is a clear act of impersonation. We are guided by a constitution. We are guided by laws. So it's wrong for him to appear here and introduce himself as the state Labour Party chairman.
Well, Mr. Ferdinand, I think perhaps maybe he might have...
Run your own don't take my word for it.
Yeah.
Don't take my word for it. Run your own independent investigation.
I hear you, and may I say, perhaps maybe he might have a different introduction the next time, but I would like to invite you over to another show to have that conversation, a more robust form of that conversation that you've just started now, because it sounds very interesting. Thank you very much, and I think I appreciate that honest mistake after now. Thank you very much, Mr. Ferdinand. Moving on now, the Joint Action Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities and Allied Institutions has disclosed that the federal government has only released 1 month's salary out of the 4 months withheld. The Office of the Accountant General of the Federation confirmed on Saturday that it had begun releasing the withheld salaries that prompted university workers to go on strike. The unions launched an indefinite strike on Monday, citing the unpaid 4-month salaries, which has resulted in a nationwide shutdown of university activities. SANU National President Mohammed Ibrahim stated that key university officials, including vice-chancellors, bosses and registrars, were also affected by the non-payment, further hampering university operations. He emphasized that 98% of union members are observing the strike and affirmed that they will not resume work until their demands are fully met. And tension continues to rise in Libya as reports emerge of mass arrests and fines imposed on members of the Nigerian community following a ruling by the Confederation of African Football. The decision was issued in response to a formal complaint by the Nigerian Football Federation, the NFF, over the treatment of the Super Eagles during their recent trip to Libya. The Nigerian national football team was detained at Al-Arab, at the airport in eastern Libya for more than 20 hours upon arrival for their 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Libya. Initially, the team was set to land in Benghazi Airport and make a 4-hour journey by road to Benina, the venue of the match. However, just an hour before landing, Libyan authorities instructed the Tunisian pilots to divert to Al Abrak Airport, located 150 miles from their intended destination. This unexpected development led to significant backlash, prompting the NFF to pull the Super Eagles from the match and file an official protest with CAF. The situation has escalated, with reports indicating that Nigerian nationals in Libya are now facing mass arrests and fines, adding to the tension between the two nations. You're welcome back. Now, tensions continue to escalate in Mozambique as police deployed tear gas and rubber bullets on Saturday to break up protests in several cities over a contentious presidential election. The protests come in the wake of the October 9 elections, where the ruling Frelimo party, in power since 1975, claimed victory, a result strongly rejected by opposition parties as fraudulent. Election observers, including those from the European Union, have pointed out significant irregularities and condemned the violence that occurred before, during, and after the election. Venancio Mondlane, the leading opposition candidate, has urged supporters to stage nationwide protests from October 31st to November 7th, culminating in a major rally in the capital, Maputo. On Saturday, hundreds of demonstrators in Maputo were met with tear gas and rubber bullets as police dispersed the crowds, intensifying the political unrest gripping the nation. And now in Botswana, the voices of the citizens have been heard. After months of anticipation and fervent campaigning, the just concluded elections ushered in a new era. The Umbrella for Democratic Change claimed a historic victory, ending nearly 6 decades of rule by Botswana Democratic Party. News Central's Bongani Sisiba is in Botswana and gives us more.
Becoming president, it's an enormous responsibility. It's a humbling responsibility. It's a responsibility one approaches and accepts with humility, with some trepidation.
We'll bring you that package and subsequent bulletin. Now, Turkey has reiterated its commitments to strengthening ties with Africa and urged the continent to lead diplomatic labor, or rather support, to Palestinians. This comes as the country hosted its latest African summit in Djibouti over the weekend. Turkey's engagement with Africa has deepened over the years, marked by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's extensive outreach, including 50 visits to 31 African nations during his 20 years in office. The recent ministerial meeting in Djibouti saw participation from 14 African nations, including Angola, Chad, Comoros, the Republic of Congo, Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, Ghana, Libya, Mauritania, Nigeria, South Sudan, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Presiding over the summit, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan highlighted that trade between Turkey and Africa surpassed $35 billion last year, with direct investments now amounting to $7 billion. The summit is part of Turkey's broader push to build economic and diplomatic partnership across the continent. Business now. The feminist movement has long sparked debate, with some discrediting it while others champion its cause. For young female entrepreneurs in Nigeria, feminism has become a powerful influence, shaping both their career paths and life choices. Chidema Ona of News Central dives into the topic, offering deeper insight in this report.
No doubt that women are making significant strides in the corporate and business world. In Nigeria, an increasing number of women entrepreneurs are reshaping the business landscape, often driven by principles rooted in feminism. For these women, feminism is more than just a movement. It's a powerful force empowering them to overcome structural barriers and achieve lasting success.
The women that we see today and we look up to, they are our pioneers and trailblazers. They didn't sit back and wait for anybody to tell them. They went ahead and went to school and pushed for better jobs and pushed for more education and pushed for higher pay because they felt like they were worth it. They didn't wait for anybody to give it to them. So if you ask me, the biggest barriers to economic empowerment for women actually is a thing of the mind and is systematic. You can't fight the system is there. You can only reprogram yourself and reprogram as many people as you can.
Feminism's impact on Nigerian business is increasingly clear as it enhances access to resources, drives policy changes, and bolsters support networks. Support networks now serve as a crucial foundation for women in business, providing spaces to share experiences, offer guidance, and build partnerships grounded in solidarity.
Support is key. It cannot be underemphasized or pushed aside. Support is key. These networks are very invaluable, especially in a business landscape like ours, where women are often marginalized. So when we have this support, it provides women with that resilience, that extra boost that they need to be able to navigate a complex business environment like we have here in Nigeria.
Feminism has been and can be very instrumental in raising awareness and driving policy changes that, address gender-based inequalities in Nigeria. We cannot deny the benefits of feminism to not just women entrepreneurs, but the entire, ecosystem in terms of businesses.
Many believe that feminist movements are working to make resources accessible to all women, not just the privileged few. Through this approach, Nigerian women are not only building businesses, but also fostering an ecosystem of mutual support and growth. In Lagos for News Central, I am Chidima Ona.
Welcome for sports. The Board of Administration of Confederation of African Volleyball has officially appointed engineer Musa Nimrod as the president of the CAVB Beach Volleyball Commission. This appointment made in Casablanca, Morocco, represents a significant milestone not only for Nimrod but also for the future of development of beach volleyball across Africa. In his acceptance speech, Nimrod expressed his vision for beach volleyball, promising to elevate it to one of the premier sports on the continent. Nimrod, who doubles as president of the Nigeria Volleyball Federation, also took a moment to commend the leadership of the CAVB. And the match between Nigeria and Zambia, which was supposed to be played on Saturday at the IHF World Handball Trophy Africa Men's Continental Phase in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, has been shifted to Sunday. That's today. The national under-18 men's handball team, led by coach Emeka Namani, was to leave for Addis Ababa on Friday via the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, but couldn't do so due to scheduling reasons and had to leave the country on Saturday morning via Ethiopia Airlines. They will now play against Zambia at 1 p.m. Nigeria time at the Ethiopia Sports Center in Addis Ababa before facing host Ethiopia on Monday at the same venue. A Nigeria Premier Football League side Lobby Stars has appointed Finnish coach Mika Lundström as the new head coach. The Makodi-based club previously brought on former Nigerian international Daniel Amokachi as technical advisor following the departure of Eugene Agbagbe. Now Lundström is set to take charge of the team's affairs. Lundström's immediate task will be to improve Lobby Stars' standing as they currently sit 17th on the NPFL table with just 2 wins, 3 losses and 4 draws from 9 matches. The Super Eagles of Nigeria will arrive in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire on the 10th of November for camping ahead of the 2025 African Nations Cup qualifier matchday 5 fixture against Benin Republic. Benin Republic adopted home Abidjan will be the battleground when the West African brothers go toe-to-toe in the battle for the qualification for the 2025 CAF African Nations Cup. The Super Eagles will take on Benin at their adopted home ground on Thursday, November 14th, before they welcome Rwanda 4 days later in Uyo to round up their qualifying campaign. Nigeria are top in Group D with 10 points from 4 games and need at least a draw to qualify for the 2025 AFCON, while Benin are second on 6 points with same number of matches played. And Arena Sabalenka continues her dominance over Zheng Qinwen with victory in the first match of the season-ending WTA Finals. New world number 1 Sabalenka beat the Chinese 7th seed 6-3, 6-4 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Sabalenka has won all 5 of her meetings with Zheng, including 4 this year, leading Chinese fans to nickname the Belarusian the mountain that Zheng is yet to overcome. Has a ring to it. Sabalenka beat Zheng in the Australian Open final in January and won her 3rd Grand Slam singles title at the US Open in September and is the heavy favorite for the title, having replaced Iga Swiatek at the top of the world ranking in October. And qualifying at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix has been postponed until today as a result of heavy rains. Qualifying has been scheduled for 7:30 local time, and the race moved forward by an hour and a half to 12:30 local time because of the forecast of more wet weather today. The qualifying session had been due to start on Saturday, but a decision was made after a series of delays that the track was too wet and conditions were not going to improve. A joint statement from governing body, the FIA and Formula One, said the decision was taken to proceed with qualifying due to poor visibility, standing water on the track, and fading lights. And that's all this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the stories we brought your way. Labour Party loses to ZLP and YPP in Abia local government elections. And AGF moves to drop charges against 32 minors in alleged treason case. We also told you the police cracked down on protesters over disputed presidential polls in Mozambique. Now, do remember that you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino. Appeal.